WWE 2K26 has dropped a new update on us, and this ain't the type of update that y'all like to hear about, but some of y'all might. You know what I'm saying? But we're here. We're going to talk about a little bit of just the updates and the Persona cards that have been introduced back into the game. But before we do, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Let's go on ahead and get into it. WWE 2K26 is my faction with another Friday live update, and there has been a lot that has been added today and stuff that we do need to talk about, from the card market update to new Persona cards to the packs to the World Tour. There's just a lot of stuff that they are doing, and obviously the negative still continues. Not a lot of that has been toned down, in my personal opinion. Let's go on ahead and start with the card market, y'all, because this is super important for those that are looking to get Liv Morgan. This is one thing that you will need to go on ahead and have with the undeniable cards. You need to get most of these cards, yo, and they cost 47,500 my faction points or 40,000 VC. Over time, these cards will continuously, just get cheaper, but the reality of the matter is that this is still pretty expensive. For somebody like myself that did open up a couple of undeniable packs, I only have 1 out of the 8 cards, and all of these are sapphires, so they're always going to cost 40,000 VC for all these cards. I clearly don't have enough. I'm only going to have 3 out of 8. So, I mean, right now, the Liv Morgan dream, personally for me, is kind of out the window if we're being completely honest. But we do have a new locked-in set that has made its way into the game with a Brock Lesnar Persona card that you can use for promos and things like that, which is pretty cool. And this Brock Persona is in packs. Now, again, the whole using these Personas and using the whole just content that we had last year, that we paid for last year, and to pay for it again for the same thing again, I mean, man, I can see why people are infuriated by this, honestly speaking, and it's a point that we're just going to hone down in every week, because I am personally, like, just looking at this and I'm like, man, like, we could be looking at something better, in my opinion, but unfortunately, that's not the case. I don't mind the Brock Persona card being in the game, but make him free, you know what I'm saying? Make him, a card that we can just get in there and just, play for, without having to spend any my faction points or VC, like World Tour. Even though I'm not a fan of all the reusable content in World Tour that you got to get, like the RVD, the Seth Rollins, like those are cards that we had to grind for last year and we're grinding for again. At least it's free for the most part, right? You still got to grind and do certain things, but you don't got to go out there and know that you got to gamble to get these cards. As long as you play the mode and you do what you have to do, it's there. Again, I don't agree with the rewards, but if you are going to use any of this reused content, at least give it away for free, and especially for those that did pay for this pack last year. You know what I mean? So again, it's one of those things where there's a fine line in between. I don't mind the Brock Persona card, but I also don't like the way that you got to get him. The only positive for me out of all of this is that he is in packs. So a couple packs and you'll probably have him. Hopefully the odds are decent, because speaking about packs, we got to go on ahead and go into this pack market, and y'all going to see what we're talking about. The prices went up. Now it is 15,100, 271,800 whopping my faction points, and 244,000 VC. Now, obviously, you know what I'm saying, I don't have all that VC, so if I went to go on ahead and purchase some VC, brother, oh brother, I don't even think $70 is enough for this box from what I'm looking at here. You feel what I'm saying? It might be, you know what I'm saying? My math might be off. Yeah, I guess it might be about $70. That's still a lot of money. And you're not guaranteed to pull these cards, bro. Like, it's just a tough ask, right? You got all these Ruby cards, and $70 for all these Ruby cards is just, man, listen. I'm not somebody that is, gonna go on ahead and do this just because it's just, I feel like I'm a bit at a point where it's not reasonable to me, and I know that they gotta figure out a way to just get that happy balance between the consumers, you know what I'm saying, and just them. Because we get it, you gotta make your money, and I gotta think that there's people out there that are spending money on this mode and just going crazy with it, and that's the reason why we're suffering. That's my only 2 cents, because there's no way that 2K continuously drops these packs with these prices and they're not making money. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they would have been stopped a long time ago if people spoke with their wallet, but unfortunately, that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? Because if this was an issue for a lot of other people, I feel like these prices would have been dropped already if they weren't getting the revenue that they wanted to see. And again, this is likely something that's way higher than what people could even imagine, because we see Bryan Mazik, who seems to have made himself sort of the face of this mode, at least on X. You know, I don't think that they set the prices by any means. You know what I'm saying? I think that this is just something bigger than what a lot of people could even imagine. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, you know, we do see some changes in the future. I feel like hopefully has been a strong word of mine for the past 3 years of covering this game. But the reality is, man, is that we need to see, you know, a lot of the persona cards and the prices and all that type of stuff just really improve, in my opinion. You know, I think that the prices are just a bit crazy. And I feel like we are just kind of just in a revolving circle. This is what we talk about every time, the prices being crazy and them being nuts. But that's the reality, man. These prices are just a bit insane, you know? But we got to go into World Tour. And World Tour, y'all, this is a mode to me that I really liked last year. I haven't really played as much this year, but they are continuously updating it, and that is a positive in my opinion, because when I spoke to them at Creative Fest, I let them know, man, this is one of y'all best modes. You guys have to continue updating this. They told me they had a plan, and they're living up to that plan. We've gotten multiple updates already this year. Seth freaking Rollins, the elite card is the reward. I'll be honest, that's an L in my opinion, but you are going to get your My Faction points. You are going to get Seth Rollins, and you're going to get another piece of the arc, which for those that are playing World Tour at the moment, this is just more content. And again, I really do enjoy the fact that they are updating this as much as they just can. You know what I mean? And they're pacing themselves. And it seems like throughout the year, we're going to continue getting more and more stuff. We already have, I believe, 4 regions, 5 regions. I mean, we have a lot of stuff going on. And if they continuously update it, I think that the mode in terms of updates is going to be in a good spot, you know, with the content that they can give us. Now, there's so much other stuff wrong with it that I know World Tour is probably getting overlooked, you know, even by myself. As you guys see, I'm so out of the loop with the mode this year, just because of the stuff that I'm seeing, that I've only played one city, you know. So I think that when you look at the generalized mode, we sit here and we're trying to understand a lot of what's going on, but it's really hard to go on ahead and understand that. Now, let's go on ahead and put My Faction to the side as we've gotten a little rant out the way. Let's talk about what's going on on the Nintendo Switch 2. We got a new mode or some sort of creation suite feature where you can go on ahead and edit the face paint in a different way that nobody else can on any other console, just like we got the motion mayhem match, which is like a grenade or a bomb in the middle of the ring, where that's part of the match type. And again, these things are unlockable on the PC because there's obviously certain ways to just unlock things on PC. But Nintendo Switch 2, if you guys remember back in the day, there was even a game where we had thumbtacks on a Nintendo console. So I'm not sure if this is something that they work out with Nintendo. Hey, we're going to add these exclusive features to incentivize people to use or play the game on this console. Not sure what goes in behind that, but I will say that that is kind of cool to see these features being worked out on. And this is a feature that it seems like a lot of people wanted, and now it's on Switch. I personally am not too familiar with a lot of the top features that the creation suite players want, because that feels like such a niche inside of the game. So it's a bit different, you know, but to see that they are, you know, doing certain little things to differentiate the game, I like those little Easter eggs, seeing them, you know, in a different version of the game. It kind of gives it a boost, in my opinion. So that's where I'm at with that. I don't really have too much negative to say. I don't know if there are people upset or happy about it. Regardless, we always talk about it on this channel, but that's just where I stand with the My Faction. With the new features, I think, you know, the more content, the better. And hopefully we continuously see that growing throughout, you know, the rest of the year, because I think that the roster is not what makes the game, you know, playable throughout the rest of the year, nor the updates, nor the DLC. I think that, you know, the patches as well are going to play a big role in making sure that they give us that hook. Because I thought, for me personally, online was going to be that hook for me this year, playing with my friends and playing with you guys. And unfortunately, a lot of those match types have been removed. No sight of them coming back just yet. But I have to go on ahead and think that a lot of these things are being worked on behind the scenes, and they are going to come back in a future patch. That's just where I'm at with all of this, man. But make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. You guys have been enjoying the content. I'm gonna catch y'all. Hey.